Alan Thicke was playing hockey with his teenage son in Burbank when he suffered an apparent heart attack. His death shocking to his fans and his TV family.
Imagine being the beloved TV dad and then shock people for your high-profile romances with 17-year-old girl and controversial endorsement deals.
My dad is a comedian first, so, you know, he's the funniest guy I know.
Do you ever look at him and say, thanks, Dad, for the awesome genetics?
Yeah.
This is Alan Thicke, and his real-life story is filled with shocking twists and turns that rival any TV drama. His sudden death from aortic dissection while joking on a hockey rink only adds to the intrigue. Discover the untold scandals and unexpected twists behind the man who played America's favorite dad. Alan Thicke, the beloved TV dad from Growing Pains, was born in the chilly mining town of Kirkland Lake, Ontario, Canada. His parents, Shirley Joan and William Jeffrey, were a nurse and a stockbroker, respectively. But their marriage hit a rocky patch, and they divorced when Alan was just a young boy. Alan's mom remarried a doctor named Brian Thicke, and the family relocated to Elliott Lake, a small town in northern Ontario. Growing up in this close-knit community, Alan attended Elliott Lake Secondary School, where he was quite the popular guy. In fact, he was even crowned homecoming king. After graduation, Alan headed to the University of Western Ontario to further his education. He even joined the Delta Upsilon fraternity, known for its fun-loving and social atmosphere. It seems like Alan was always destined for the spotlight, even in his college days. Little did he know that his path would eventually lead him to become a household name, playing the iconic Dr. Jason Seaver on Growing Pains. Alan Thicke wasn't just a TV dad, he was a game show master too. He hosted a bunch of different shows, starting with Face the Music in 1975, a Canadian game show where contestants had to guess songs. Then came First Impressions in 1976, another Canadian show where celebrities had to guess the occupations of regular folks based on their appearance. Talk about awkward. In the late 80s, Thicke hosted the Saturday morning game show, Animal Crack-Ups. It was a fun and wacky show where celebrities had to guess animal sounds and behaviors. It was the perfect show for kids and families to watch together on a Saturday morning. But Thicke didn't just stick to animal sounds. In 1997, he hosted a TV version of the classic board game Pictionary. You know, the one where you have to draw clues for your teammates to guess? It was a hit with viewers, as everyone loved the challenge of trying to decipher Thicke's doodles. And in the early 2000s, he hosted All New Three's a Crowd on the Game Show Network. It was a hilarious show where three couples competed to see who knew each other best. It was filled with awkward moments and funny revelations, and Thicke was the perfect host to guide the contestants through the chaos. Alan Thicke proved that he was more than just a sitcom dad. He was a versatile entertainer who could host game shows with humor and charm. He was a true jack of all trades, leaving his mark on both the acting and game show worlds. In 1977, Alan Thicke's career took a hilarious turn when the legendary TV producer Norman Lear hired him for a unique project. Lear was the brains behind shows like All in the Family and The Jeffersons, so you know it had to be good. Thicke was put in charge of producing and writing for Fernwood Tonight, a wacky talk show that was a spin-off of Lear's other show, Mary Hartman. Fernwood Tonight wasn't your average talk show. It was a parody, poking fun at small-town TV stations and their cheesy programs. Thicke and his team of writers came up with hilarious sketches, awkward interviews, and ridiculous musical performances. It was a hit with audiences, and it showed Thicke's knack for comedy and satire. But Thicke's talents weren't limited to behind-the-scenes work. In the late 1970s, he became a regular guest host on The Alan Hamel Show, a popular daytime talk show on Canadian TV. He was so good at it that when Hamel's show ended in the early 80s, it was replaced with The Alan Thicke Show. This was Thicke's own talk show where he interviewed celebrities, chatted with everyday folks, and even showed off his musical skills by performing his own songs. Thicke's Canadian talk show was such a hit that it even got its own primetime spin-off called Prime Cuts. It was like a best-of compilation, featuring highlights from The Daily Show. It was a great way for Thicke to reach a wider audience and showcase his wit and charm to viewers across Canada. But Thicke had his sights set on even bigger things. He was ready to take on the American late-night scene, and in 1983 he signed on to host Thicke of the Night, a syndicated talk show that was supposed to rival the king of late night, Johnny Carson. The show was heavily promoted, and everyone was buzzing about it, but sadly, it turned out to be a major flop. It seems like Thicke's brand of humor didn't quite resonate with American audiences, and the show was canceled after just one season. It was a tough blow for Thicke, but he didn't let it discourage him. He continued to pursue his passions, both in front of and behind the camera, leaving a lasting legacy as a talented entertainer and a beloved TV dad. Alan Thicke wasn't just a funny guy in front of the camera. He had a secret weapon behind the scenes, his songwriting skills. He wrote a bunch of catchy theme songs for TV shows, often working with his then-wife, Gloria Loring. Remember those iconic tunes from Different Strokes and The Facts of Life? Yep, those were Thicke's creations. But he didn't stop there. He also wrote a whole bunch of theme songs for game shows like The Wizard of Odds, The Joker's Wild, and Celebrity Sweepstakes. He even lent his voice to the opening of The Wizard of Odds, singing the intro himself. Talk about a multi-talented guy. Thicke even co-wrote a hit song called Sarah for the singer Bill Champlin. It was a smooth and soulful tune that showed off Thicke's songwriting chops. He wasn't just a jingle writer, he was a real songwriter with a knack for catchy melodies. And let's not forget Thicke's skills as a producer. He worked on a variety of TV shows, including some special Christmas shows for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, with the famous singer Anne Murray. He was a man behind the scenes, making sure the shows ran smoothly and entertained audiences across Canada. Alan Thicke was already an established figure in the entertainment industry before he joined Growing Pains. He had been a successful talk show host and had written theme songs for popular TV shows like Different Strokes and The Facts of Life. However, his journey to becoming Dr. Jason Seaver started in the mid-1980s. The creators of Growing Pains, Neil Marlins and Carol Black, were looking for someone who could play the role of a loving yet firm father. They needed someone who could balance humor with heartfelt moments, and Alan Thicke seemed to fit the bill perfectly. Despite his lack of experience in sitcom acting, Thicke's charm and presence made a strong impression during his audition. The producers saw in him the perfect blend of wit and warmth needed for Dr. Seaver. Once cast as Dr. Jason Seaver, Alan Thicke brought his unique flair to the character. Dr. Seaver was a psychiatrist who decided to move his practice into his home so he could take a more active role in raising his children. This setup allowed for numerous comedic and touching family moments. Thicke's performance was marked by his ability to switch seamlessly between comedy and drama. He portrayed Dr. Seaver as a caring father who could be both goofy and serious when needed. His interactions with his on-screen children, Mike, Kirk Cameron, Carol, Tracy Gold, and Ben, Jeremy Miller, were genuine and heartfelt. Thicke's chemistry with Joanna Kearns, who played his wife Maggie, added depth to the show, making their on-screen marriage one of the most beloved in TV history. Growing Pains debuted on September 24, 1985, and quickly became a hit. The show resonated with audiences due to its relatable portrayal of family life and its ability to tackle real issues with humor and sensitivity. Thicke's portrayal of Dr. Seaver was a significant part of the show's success. Throughout its 7-season run, Growing Pains received numerous accolades. It was nominated for several awards, including Golden Globes and Primetime Emmys. While Thicke himself did not win major awards for his role, his performance was widely appreciated and he became a household name. His portrayal of Dr. Seaver was so iconic that it became a defining role in his career. One of the notable achievements of Growing Pains was its ability to address important social issues. The show tackled topics like peer pressure, drug use, and family dynamics in a way that was accessible to its audience. Thicke's performance helped ground these storylines, making them impactful without feeling preachy. Alan Thicke was not just a star on screen. He was also beloved by his co-stars and crew. He had a reputation for being professional, kind, and supportive. His relationship with the young actors on the show was particularly noteworthy. Thicke took on a mentor-like role, offering advice and guidance to his younger co-stars. Kirk Cameron, who played Mike Seaver, often spoke about how Thicke was like a father figure to him off-screen as well. Thicke's influence helped create a positive and nurturing environment on set, which translated into the strong familial bond portrayed on the show. Like any long-running show, Growing Pains faced its share of challenges. As the series progressed, there were behind-the-scenes changes and evolving storylines that tested the cast and crew. One of the significant challenges was managing the growing fame of Kirk Cameron, who became a teen heartthrob and had a substantial influence on the show's direction. Thicke navigated these changes with grace. His steady presence helped maintain the show's original charm even as it adapted to new dynamics. Thicke's ability to remain consistent in his performance, while allowing his character to grow and evolve, was crucial to the show's longevity. Growing Pains ended its original run on April 25, 1992, but its impact lasted far beyond that. The show remained popular in syndication and continued to attract new audiences. Alan Thicke's role as Dr. Jason Seaver became a cultural touchstone for a generation. In the years following Growing Pains, Thicke continued to work in television and film. He appeared in various roles, often embracing his status as a TV dad icon. Thicke's work on Growing Pains also paved the way for future family sitcoms, influencing how father figures were portrayed on television. The enduring popularity of Growing Pains led to reunion specials and TV movies. In 2000, the cast reunited for The Growing Pains movie, and again in 2004 for Growing Pains: Return of the Seavers. These reunions allowed fans to revisit their favorite characters and see how they had grown over the years. Alan Thicke's return as Dr. Seaver in these specials was met with enthusiasm. It was clear that the character, and Thicke's portrayal of him, had left a lasting impression. The reunion specials highlighted the enduring bond between the cast members and their continued affection for the show. Alan Thicke's performance on Growing Pains remains a significant part of his legacy. He brought to life a character that was both relatable and aspirational. Dr. Jason Seaver was a father who made mistakes but always strived to do right by his family. Thicke's portrayal resonated with viewers who saw in him the kind of parent they aspired to be. Thicke's influence extended beyond his role on Growing Pains. He continued to be a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, known for his wit, charm, and versatility. Thicke's contributions to television, both in front of and behind the camera, left a lasting mark. From 1983 to 1990, Alan Thicke spread holiday cheer as co-host of the Walt Disney World Very Merry Christmas Parade, now known as the Disney Parks Christmas Day Parade. Alongside Joan London, he brought the magic of Disney's festive celebrations into homes across America, showcasing dazzling floats, beloved characters, and heartwarming performances. Thicke's charm and humor made him the perfect host for this annual tradition. He engaged with the crowds, interacted with Disney characters, and even showed off some dance moves on occasion. He truly embodied the spirit of the holidays, bringing joy and laughter to families nationwide. But Thicke's hosting skills weren't limited to Christmas parades. In 1987 and 1988, he hosted the Crystal Light National Aerobic Championships. It was a high-energy event filled with impressive athleticism and dazzling routines. Thicke's enthusiasm and encouragement for the competitors made him a beloved figure in the fitness world. In 1987, Alan Thicke swapped out his dad jeans for a lab coat in the Disney Channel movie Not Quite Human. He played Dr. Jonas Carson, a brilliant scientist who creates a lifelike android that looks exactly like a teenage boy. But instead of using his creation for evil, Dr. Carson decides to adopt the android as his son. It's a heartwarming and funny story about the challenges of raising a teenage robot who's trying to fit in with regular humans. Thicke's portrayal of Dr. Carson was so lovable that he reprised the role in 2 sequels, Not Quite Human 2 in 1989 and Still Not Quite Human in 1992. These movies followed the android, named Chip, as he navigated the ups and downs of high school and college, dealing with bullies, crushes, and the occasional malfunction. Thicke's role in this sci-fi family comedy series was a departure from his usual roles, but he embraced the challenge with his signature charm and humor. He brought a warmth and humanity to the character of Dr. Carson, making him a relatable and endearing father figure, even if his son was a little bit different. The Not Quite Human movies were a hit with audiences, especially younger viewers who were captivated by the idea of a teenage robot trying to find his place in the world. In 1988, Alan Thicke stepped into the glamorous world of beauty pageants, replacing Bob Barker as the host of the Miss USA pageant. Why did Barker step down? He was a big animal rights activist and didn't like that one of the prizes for the winner was a fur coat. So Thicke got the gig, bringing his charm and wit to the El Paso, Texas stage. He was such a hit that he also took over hosting duties for the Miss Universe pageant that year, this time alongside Tracy Scoggins. The pageant took them all the way to Taipei, Taiwan, where Thicke once again proved he could handle the spotlight with grace and humor. But Thicke's reign as pageant host didn't last long. He was replaced by Dick Clark for the 1989 Miss USA pageant and by John Forsythe for the Miss Universe pageant that year. It seems like the pageant world was a revolving door of hosts. Alan Thicke wasn't just a sitcom star. He was a master of ceremonies, hosting all sorts of events on TV. In 1989, he teamed up with the hilarious Andrea Martin from the comedy show SCTV to co-host the opening of the Sky Dome in Toronto. It was a big deal for Canada, and Thicke brought his usual charm and energy to the event. But Thicke's hosting gigs didn't stop there. In 2004, he even returned to the world of beauty pageants, this time hosting the Miss Universe Canada pageant in Ontario. He was a natural at making contestants feel comfortable and keeping the audience entertained. Thicke also wasn't afraid to poke fun at himself. He made a cameo appearance in the pilot episode of the sitcom Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. The funny thing is, the show was filmed on the same set that was used for the Seaver family's home on Growing Pains. Thicke appeared in the end credits, joking about the coincidence with the show's star, Mark Curry. But his acting career wasn't limited to just cameos. Thicke continued to guest star on various TV shows, like Murder, She Wrote, Married, With Children, Son of the Beach, and Seventh Heaven. He even showed up in the raunchy comedy Son of the Beach, proving that he could handle a wide range of genres and characters. From 1995 to 1996, Thicke graced American TV screens in the sitcom Hope and Gloria. He played Dennis Dupree, a talk show host with a knack for getting himself into wacky situations. The show lasted for 35 episodes, giving Thicke another chance to showcase his comedic skills. But Thicke wasn't afraid to get a little dirty. In 2002, he bravely faced his fears on a celebrity edition of Fear Factor, where contestants had to endure gross and challenging stunts. It was a far cry from his comfortable talk show hosting gigs, but it showed that he was always up for a challenge. That same year, he made a guest appearance on the sitcom Just Shoot Me, playing a member of a boy band. It was a hilarious episode where Thicke got to show off his singing and dancing skills, proving he was still a triple threat. From 2006 to 2009, Thicke returned to his talk show roots, playing the charismatic host Rich Ginger on the soap opera, The Bold and the Beautiful. It was a juicy role that allowed him to interact with the show's dramatic characters and add a touch of humor to the intense storylines. Thicke's hosting skills continued to shine in the early 2000s. He hosted Animal Miracles on the PAX TV network, a heartwarming show that celebrated the special bond between humans and animals. And in 2006, he took on the culinary world with Celebrity Cooking Showdown on NBC. It was a fun and competitive show where celebrities teamed up with famous chefs to create delicious dishes. Thicke's quick wit and easygoing charm made him the perfect host for this tasty challenge. In 2008, Alan Thicke took on a major supporting role in the TV adaptation of Douglas Coupland's novel J-Pod. He played Jim Jarlowski, a goofy and lovable dad who works in the tech industry. It was a fun and quirky role that showed Thicke's comedic chops and his ability to play a character who's a bit of a dork. But Thicke wasn't just sticking to serious acting gigs. He also made a hilarious cameo appearance in the hit sitcom How I Met Your Mother. Remember the episode where Robin Scherbatsky's embarrassing Canadian pop star past is revealed? Thicke played the dad in Robin's cheesy music video, Sandcastles in the Sand. It was a side of Thicke we hadn't seen before, and it was a real treat for fans. Thicke didn't just stop at one cameo, though. He returned to How I Met Your Mother for several more guest appearances, always bringing his signature charm and humor to the show. He played himself, offering advice to the main characters, and even getting into a few awkward situations. In 2009, Alan Thicke showed off his quirky side by appearing on the super weird and hilarious show Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job, on Adult Swim. He also popped up in the web series Starving, proving he was game for anything, even the most bizarre comedic skits. But Thicke wasn't just about offbeat comedy. He also appeared in the 2009 film The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard, a raunchy comedy about a group of used car salesmen. It was a different kind of role for Thicke, but he brought his signature charm and humor to the table. To top it all off, Thicke made a surprise appearance on the 1000th episode of the popular tech show Attack of the Show. He even sang a song with the hosts, Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn. It was a fun and unexpected moment that showcased Thicke's versatility as an entertainer. In 2008, Alan Thicke showed off a different kind of talent, or lack thereof. He made a few guest appearances on the Canadian show Canada's Worst Handyman 5. It turns out, fixing things around the house wasn't exactly his forte, making for some hilarious TV moments. But Thicke's TV adventures didn't stop there. In 2010, he made a memorable appearance on the comedy show Tosh Dar Zero, where he gamely poked fun at himself and his career. He also showed up in the quirky musical La La Land, playing himself in a scene where he awkwardly hits on a young actress. Classic Thicke. That same year, Thicke put his knowledge to the test as a celebrity contestant on Don't Forget the Lyrics. He wasn't just playing for fun, though. He was competing for two charities close to his heart, Procon.org and the Alan Thicke Center for Diabetes Research. It was a chance for him to use his fame for a good cause, while also showing off his love for music. In 2013, Alan Thicke decided to spice up his life by participating in ABC's Celebrity Wife Swap. He traded places with the famously loudmouthed comedian Gilbert Gottfried. Imagine the chaos. Thicke had to deal with Gottfried's wacky wife, while Gottfried tried to navigate life with Thicke's much calmer partner. It was a hilarious and unexpected twist for the TV dad. But Thicke didn't stop there. From 2014 to 2015, he even had his own reality show called Unusually Thicke. It followed his life with his wife Tanya, their son Carter, and his two grown-up sons from a previous marriage. It was a mix of family moments, celebrity appearances, and Thicke's signature humor. In 2016, Thicke made a brief but memorable appearance as himself in the pilot episode of the hit drama series This Is Us. It was a touching tribute to his legacy as a beloved TV dad, and it reminded viewers of his warm and endearing personality. But Thicke's hosting skills weren't just limited to game shows and talk shows. In 2014 and 2015, he hosted a traveling dance competition called Dancing Pros Live. He traveled across the United States, introducing talented dancers and cheering them on as they battled it out on the dance floor. Thicke's enthusiasm and passion for the arts made him the perfect host for this exciting show. In the 1990s, Alan Thicke was the friendly face of Woolco department stores in Canada. He appeared in commercials, greeting shoppers with his warm smile and reassuring voice. But when Woolco closed its doors in 1994, Thicke's days as a department store spokesperson came to an end. Thicke's charm and charisma didn't go unnoticed, though. In 2007, he popped up in a TV ad for Tahiti Village, a luxurious timeshare resort in Las Vegas. He invited viewers to escape to paradise, showcasing the resort's amenities and promising a relaxing getaway. But Thicke wasn't just about promoting vacation destinations. In 2009, he became a spokesperson for CCS Medical, a company that delivers diabetes supplies to people's homes. It was a cause close to Thicke's heart, as he had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes himself. He used his platform to raise awareness about the disease and encourage people to take control of their health. In 2014, Thicke took on a new endorsement deal, this time for Optima tax relief. He appeared in commercials, reassuring taxpayers that they could get help with their tax problems and avoid the stress of dealing with the IRS. It was a different kind of role for Thicke, but he brought his signature charm and trustworthiness to the campaign. In 2011, Alan Thicke became the spokesperson for Cambridge Life Solutions, a Canadian company that claimed to help people get out of debt. But there was a catch. The company used a controversial method called debt settlement, which had already been banned in the United States because it was seen as a sneaky way to take advantage of people struggling with debt. This method involved convincing people to pay fees to the company before any deals were made with their creditors. It sounded like a good idea to some, but in reality, it often left people with even more debt and damaged credit scores. Thicke's involvement with the company raised eyebrows. He was a beloved TV dad, someone people trusted, but his endorsement gave the company credibility and helped them attract customers. According to Scott Hanna, a financial expert, Cambridge Life Solutions dominated half of the Canadian market thanks to Thicke's familiar face. The company was accused of bilking thousands of vulnerable Canadians, taking advantage of people who were desperate for help. It was a shady situation, and Thicke's involvement, even though he likely had good intentions, tarnished his reputation a bit. Alan Thicke's love life was just as eventful as his career. He walked down the aisle 3 times, each marriage bringing its own unique flavor to the mix. His first wife was Gloria Loring, an actress from the soap opera Days of Our Lives. They tied the knot in 1970 and had 2 sons, Brennan and the future R&B star Robin Thicke. But after 14 years, their marriage hit a sour note, ending in divorce in 1984. In 1987, Thicke, then 40 years old, raised eyebrows when he started dating 17-year-old actress Christy Swanson. They even got engaged 2 years later, but the wedding bells never rang. It seems like their love story wasn't meant to be. Thicke found love again in 1994 when he married Gina Tolson, who had been crowned Miss World 1990. They had a son named Carter William Thicke, but their marriage also ended in divorce in 1999. But Thicke wasn't one to give up on love. In 1999, while hosting a celebrity event in Miami, he met Tanya Kalau, a stunning model. Their connection was instant, and they tied the knot in 2005. This time, love stuck around, and they remained married until Thicke's untimely death in 2016. Tragedy struck in December 2016 while Alan Thicke was enjoying a hockey game with his son Carter. He suddenly collapsed on the ice, but even in pain, he managed to crack a joke, asking his son to snap a photo as he was wheeled away on a stretcher. It was a poignant moment that captured Thicke's humor and resilience even in the face of adversity. Sadly, Thicke passed away later that day at Providence St. Joseph Medical Center. The cause of death was a type A aortic dissection, a serious heart condition. He was 69 years old. A week later, the cast of Growing Pains reunited at Thicke's funeral to say their final goodbyes. Even Leonardo DiCaprio, who played a troubled teen on the show, came to pay his respects. It was a touching tribute to the beloved TV dad, with speeches from his close friend Bob Saget and a heartfelt, humorous remembrance from his son, Robin. Alan Thicke was laid to rest at Santa Barbara Cemetery, a peaceful final resting place for a man who brought joy and laughter to so many. His sudden passing was a shock to his family, friends, and fans, but his legacy as a talented entertainer and a loving father will live on. In a touching interview, Alan Thicke's widow, Tanya, reveals intimate details about their final moments and her healing journey after his sudden death. During a reading with Tyler Henry, the Hollywood medium, Tanya receives messages from Alan that bring her comfort and hope. She shares their last conversation, a poignant reminder of Alan's love for life and his desire to live fully. The interview also delves into Alan's health issues, the tragic plane crash that claimed his mother's life, and his unwavering faith in the afterlife. Tanya opens up about her own struggles with grief, emphasizing the importance of self-love and moving forward. Both Tanya and Tyler offer valuable advice for those facing loss, emphasizing the importance of honoring loved ones by living fully and sharing their legacy with the world. It's a powerful message of hope, healing, and the enduring connections we have with those who have passed on.